What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with another video on the DCEU. So, ever since David Zaslav canned Batgirl, ever since the earning calls, we are getting daily reports and daily information from trades and also rumors, etc. So there's a lot to go over. So, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're new around, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, pop culture based content that we do on the base. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be much appreciated. Also, if you could check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Also, check us out on Twitter sphere, WarstuG. I reply to everyone there if I can, if you are respectful. So, the biggest takeaway point from David, the CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, is he wants a Kevin Feige-like person to take over what will be DC Studios, DC Films. Now, this doesn't actually mean he wants Kevin Feige. He wants someone like Kevin Feige. Now, we here at the channel, I personally think it shouldn't be anyone that's got any affiliation to do with anything to do with DC. So someone being in charge, what are they? They're essentially an executive producer, because if you look at most of Marvel's movies, EP, Kevin Feige's on everything. Now, what is an executive producer? Well, a producer is basically a project manager. You're pretty much responsible for everything. Launching it, making sure the finances are everything on there, hiring writers, directors, being part of the creative, overseeing elements of pre-production, post-production, and everything up to the launch of it, and also promoting the movie. So you're essentially in charge of everything. Now, all they need is someone that is great with finances, someone that is great with managing other managers. Now, for some reason, people seem to think EPs have the greatest and hardest job in the world. To some degree, you do, because you get slaughtered if you get things wrong. But the reason why people think Greg Bellanti is so great is because Kevin Feige has a really interesting background. As you know, Kevin Feige was involved with some of the X-Men movies and the Fantastic Four movies, which did terrible. But I don't understand why some people seem to think that just because Kevin Feige, before the MCU, before he built the MCU with Bob Iger, with Alan Horn, etc., he did work on some massive movies that flopped, some really big tentpole properties, like the Fantastic Four, but he was a producer on them. That doesn't mean that anyone that's been a producer on a DC property could come along and slam it. Like I said in the prologue to this video, I personally think whoever takes over DC Films should have nothing to do with DC currently. Yes, I get it. Feige was a co-producer for Daredevil. Yes, Feige was involved with Man-Thing, with X-Men Last Stand as an executive producer. But that does not mean Greg Berlanti is the best person for the job. Now, Greg Berlanti is behind the Arrowverse, right? But the Arrowverse TV shows. Feige was involved with movies. The movie world and the TV world, very different things. Now, if you look at all his properties that he's done stuff with, The Flash, EP, Arrow, okay, these two shows I really liked, but they've gone downhill massive. Now, realistically, if you are considering him, looking at him, you should look what he's actually done. Writing, and then you go down and look and see, oh, the Green Lantern movie, screenplay, screen story, the Green Lantern movie, and who else was involved with that? Oh, I wonder, who else was involved with that? Mark Guggenheim, who is also one of the CW people over it. He did a lot of the Arrow work. I'm not saying Greg Berlanti is the worst person in the world, but the Arrowverse has kind of gone downhill massively in the last 5 years. Now, I know you could say production value, they didn't have the huge-ass budgets, they don't need the huge-ass budgets. I really hope Zaslav is not considering him. Now, according to Variety, Arrow boss Greg Berlanti is a potential candidate to oversee Warner Bros. Discovery, new incarnation of the DCEU, much like Kevin Feige. But then if you actually read it, it says, Variety also notes Warner Bros. Has yet to approach Berlanti, and the producer isn't pursuing the job. Insiders also suggest he may not be interested in pursuing the position. Now, there were reports that Todd Phillips was up for the run-in, James Gunn was up for the run-in. Realistically, I don't think any of these people are going to take the role. Now, I'm not going to go, yo, Zack Snyder. No, Zack Snyder's not going to get this job. He is seriously not going to get this job. But we need someone who can look past everything. In the sense that they're not just going to come in and do some fairy Disney stuff. Whoever takes over DC, they need to make sure it's a cohesive, singular timeline to start off with, because multiverses are confusing. They're not going to go straight into a multiversal story. Now, this is where the 10-year plan doesn't make any sense. So they won't can the Flash movie, but the Flash movie is going to restart everything, and it's a multiversal story. And if you believe what the rumors are saying on the rumor mill, Zaslav isn't really keen on a multiversal story because they need to build up a standalone Batman universe franchise, a standalone Superman franchise, and a standalone Wonder Woman franchise after the Wonder Woman 1984 ruined it. So they can't jump straight into a multiversal story. So we all know this is going to happen. And I guarantee some little scooper on Twitter or website will come out and go, yeah, Ben Affleck is coming back. He's going to do reshoots and I'm getting the exclusive. No, you're not getting the exclusive. The fact that The Flash is still allegedly going to come out before Aquaman 2, because Aquaman 2 is getting pushed, tells us that Ben Affleck will be the DCEU Batman going forward. Michael Keaton, it's going to be a one-and-done role, and they should remarket this movie as the Batman Flashpoint Paradox or something like that. So yes, Ben Affleck will be back to do reshoots for The Flash. 100% he will be back. Keaton might come back. Like I said, what they're probably going to do is kill off Michael Keaton's variation of Batman within the Flash movie, and they're going to have to reshoot the ending, new Flash, because we know they're not going to axe this movie. Recast the Flash right at the end. He goes for a little run, comes back, new Flash, and Ben Affleck is in the movie and he's still the Batman. And that's pretty much what's going to happen. But I do find all these options very interesting. Greg Berlanti. Now, he's okay, but not to be in charge of a whole studio. Yo, Warstu, you're hating Arrowverse. For the 100th time, this YouTube channel started on the Arrowverse, the Flash TV show. Arrow is one of my favorite TV shows ever. It should have ended maybe 3 seasons before it did, but Stephen Amell, Mr. John Diggle, Katie Cassidy absolutely owned it. There has been some fantastic programs on the Arrowverse, but that is not actually because of Greg Berlanti. Batwoman was also on the Arrowverse, and that was awful. So it is what it is. Greg Berlanti, I really hope the Berlanti Productions verse does not take over the movie universe, because when you look at his resume, the only real movie that's kind of relevant that he's worked on is Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie, which freaking flopped hard. TV, just because you can do an okay TV universe doesn't mean that transpires into a movie universe. Now, it is kind of funny when you read the IMDb page for him, because it basically bigs him up to be someone amazing. WGA, DGA, Golden Globe nominated writer, director, producer Greg Berlanti is the force behind several of the most intensive and acclaimed works of film and television. And then you look at it and it's like, not even heard of most of these programs. So that's my take on Greg Berlanti becoming the Kevin Feige of the DC Films universe. We don't need a Kevin Feige. We just need someone who knows how to manage his finances, who knows how to manage other people, because realistically, whoever gets hired to do the next Batman movie, to do the next Superman movie, to do the next Wonder Woman movie, they should produce the movie, direct it, and take care of it themselves in their independent job. The EP, executive producer, who looks over everything, just has to make sure everything is running smoothly. Yes, they do get involved, but Kevin Feige gets too much credit. There was a lot of other people that do a lot of work and you don't even know their name. Sure, Kevin Feige's a boss. Sure, he's a Don. He is a G. But whoever comes in to work on these movies, they do most of the work. And whoever's in charge of the universe or in charge of DC Films, what will become DC Films, just overlooks things a little bit, realistically. So Greg Berlanti, it's a no from me. And I really will be annoyed if they hire Greg Berlanti, because he ain't the guy. He's not the guy to save the DCEU. Neither is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. He ain't the guy either. It's kind of funny how they keep saying the hierarchy is about to change. Why? Because the rumors now going around that Black Adam is going to become the Thanos of the DC universe. Now, we spoke about it briefly in a video today. I think that's hilarious. Yes, Black Adam is a bit of a villain. He's an anti-hero, pretty much, or anti-villain if you like, but he's not actually a villain. I know he's gone up against the Justice League, but realistically, I really hope that isn't the plan. I really hope that isn't the plan. I also read a story the other day that Dwayne The Rock Johnson might become an advisor for the DC universe. I really don't think that should happen either. I am really looking forward to Black Adam, but my only problem with Black Adam is when I watch the trailer, I'm literally seeing The Rock in a superhero costume, because he talks the same. They should have done something with his head, done something with his hair, because it is just The Rock we're looking at with powers. He's playing himself just with superpowers, realistically. So could have done a lot more. Bit disappointed about the way they went. Could have changed his voice a little bit. It just sounds like The Rock, the dude I used to watch on WWF back in the day. It's The Rock going up against Henry Cavill Superman when it happens. So like always, guys, that Black Adam plot leak video will come soon. I need a few more people to ask on that other video where I said if it does get enough comments about the Black Adam plot leak, I will put it out there, and that's from a test screener earlier this year. So let me know, guys. Is Ben Affleck going to return to do reshoots? I think a lot of people are going to reshoot. There isn't going to only be one reshoot for the Flash movie, and that is how we know they're not canning it, because they've already done reshoots this summer, and there will be latter reshoots with Ben Affleck, etc., to reshoot the ending. Pretty obvious. You don't need any Twitter scoop to tell you this. It's obvious. They will reshoot the ending. And let me know who should take over and be the head of DC Films. I know a lot of people are going to say Zack Snyder. He hasn't got the time. They probably wouldn't allow it. But whoever Zaslav hires, they need to be a Don. They need to be a G. They need to be a boss. And they need to be able to not take any BS from anyone and just build a cohesive universe. And then whoever's in charge of DC Films just overlooks everything, doesn't get too involved with the projects to the point where they're dictating what they can do. That is the problem with most of the recent ones, is the studio got so involved with all the Zack Snyder stuff that it wasn't even his movie. Like, you hire someone to direct a movie, their movie, just make sure it coexists with the bigger picture. And that is all you need to do. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, comment on this video to help the algorithm. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuG, and also check us out on Instagram at Warstu. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.